Oh, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for so many things. Far too many to acknowledge in just one prayer. Father, first of all, ask thank you for waking us up this morning to start our day. Let us be a blessing to those that we encounter. Allow us to think of the organization as a whole, the students, the faculty, all the staff, and be appreciative that we get to make decisions that will affect these people. So let us always be mindful of the decisions that we make, how they impact others. Father, we're so grateful for your love. We ask that you walk with us through every second of our day. Bless every family represented here. These blessings we ask and receive in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please follow me in honoring the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Let me remind you that these meetings are recorded, and so if you have something to say during any of the meetings, we ask that you come to the microphone and also ask that you speak loud enough for the records to be taken. First item of business is the opportunities for members of the public to speak to the board. Should you have something you'd like for us to know or hear? Seeing none, hearing none, we move now to the Chancellor's update.
Thank you, sir. I have several items, and I'll begin with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Committee appointments. Our administration and faculty continues to serve on various state committees representing not only our institution, but the other 49 community colleges in the state of Texas. The most recent appointments are as follows, and when I call your name, I ask that you stand so that the board will know who you are. Dr. Robin Garrett will participate on the Negotiated Rulemaking Committee on Dual Credit, specifically evaluating the definitions for dual credit and dual enrollment in the Texas Administrative Code. Clarification of the two has implications regarding certain aspects of House Bill 8, so that's an important work. Thank you, Dr. Garrett. Next, we have Dr. Andrea Foskett, who's also the Department Chair for Science, and she will serve a 3-year term on the Coordinating Board's Texas Transfer Advisory Committee, whose charge is to oversee the development and implementation of the new policy framework and recommendations of new pathways for students transferring to a public 4-year university. Thank you, Dr. Foskett. And lastly, but certainly not least, Dr. Stephen Salvato. He will also serve a 3-year term on the Coordinating Board's Lower Division Academic Course Guide Manual Advisory Committee, whose charge is to manage the lower division academic courses intended for transfer. This includes recommending the addition and deletion of courses from the manual, as well as reviewing and revising course descriptions and student learning outcomes. Thank you, Dr. Salvato. Okay. Next, an update on the Europe Small Arms Maintenance Contract. You will recall that originally that contract was set to terminate or end on September 30th. However, prior to that date, the government issued a task order, which requires us to now provide services through February 29th. The alternative to not accepting that task order would have been to default on the federal contract, which we've never done and we won't start doing. So we are in business until February 29th over there in Vilsig, Germany. AUSA, Association of the United States Army. Thank you for the opportunity to attend, your approval of my travel. It was an amazing event. It was my first time, so it was very informative, but also a little bit overwhelming. I don't think I've ever seen so many people in one place, but highly, highly organized. I had the privilege to represent the Central Texas chapter of AUSA along with several of our local officials, and you may have seen that in the paper. Two of the main speakers were the Army Secretary Christine Wormuth. She spoke during the opening ceremony, and the following day during the Dwight D. Eisenhower luncheon, we heard from General Randy A. George, Chief of Staff of the Army, and both of them really focused on the future of the Army and the need for innovation and ingenuity in helping our soldiers meet the mission. And I'll provide more detail in my trip report. But also, I wanted to note that on Sunday, prior to the actual meetings, the Army Military District of Washington hosted the 39th annual 10-miler in Arlington, Virginia. And our very own Dr. Tina Adey participated in that. And she beat out a certain someone here in the city who shall remain nameless. So Dr. Adey. By way of follow-up to General Weaver's inquiry regarding the Killeen Police Department, I've asked Mr. Osborne, who runs our police academy, to come and just give a quick update to respond to that inquiry.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday, I called the Killeen Police Department's Assistant Chief Alex Gearhart, and I asked him about the possibility of them starting to send their recruits to our academy. He assured me he had nothing against our academy, but they're very happy with their own academy and what they have going right now. They run 2 academies a year. They're able to tailor their academy specifically for their needs. When they were sending their recruits to Killeen, they would complete the academy, they'd go back to Killeen, they'd have another 6 weeks of orientation, which goes over Killeen Police Department policies, stuff. By having their own academy, they could avoid that. The standards and stuff. So if I hire somebody from Copper's Cove, their physical fitness standards are going to be really high. But if I hire somebody from Brown County, I might get somebody that's really overweight. And our policy is it's department's going to determine whether they're fit for duty or not. By having their own, they can set their own standards and maintain them for them. But he respectfully told me that right now they're very happy with their own academy.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne.
Questions? Thank you, sir.
And that concludes my update.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item on the agenda is a net impact presentation. Dr. Clemens.
Thank you so much, Board of Trustees and Dr. Carter, for having us here today. Thank you so much for requesting us to come and tell you a little bit about what we do here on campus. We're also going to cover what headquarters, Net Impact headquarters is. And then we're going to tell you a little about the projects that we're currently working on and our upcoming projects. So just to tell you a little bit about Net Impact as a whole. So we are actually a nonprofit out of Oakland, California. There are 300 chapters around the world. Out of these 300 chapters, there's 100,000 members. These members are part of undergrad, graduate, and professional chapters. Currently, there's only 5 community colleges part of Net Impact. Not to say we're number 1, but I'm going to say that. We're sponsored by Fortune 500 and 100 companies, meaning that they sponsor the headquarters, and that means jobs for our students, internships for our students. Once a student becomes a member of Net Impact, they then have a portal to log into where they will be able to access these jobs and internships across the nation. One of the things I love about Net Impact is that it allows the students really to take what they're learning in the classroom and apply it to what they're doing in the experience through the projects. Excuse me. Here, excuse me. Here locally, our chapter. So what I found out was in 1993, Dr. Frith was over the SIFE, which is Students in Free Enterprise. Mm-hmm. And then in 2012, SIFE decided that they were stifling the students with the title of SIFE and keeping them students when they introduce themselves or network. So they decided to move into a more professional name of Enactus. However, in 2009, they stopped allowing 2-year schools to compete against each other, and they started making us compete against 4-year schools. Now, we held our own, and we've placed like 5th or 6th in the nation, but one of the things that was evident was the international projects. And it got to the point where international projects was almost a had to have in order to compete and be able to move up through regionals. From there, we decided that because of the students that we have, we would probably not do well in that continue being with Enactus. So in 2017, that's when we found Net Impact, which had the same values, the same core principles that Enactus had, except for the only difference is they want us to focus on our backyard first before we go and help others. Excuse me. Net Impact here at Central Texas College is open to all students. So no matter what degree plan you're on. For instance, we just had a student come to us a couple days ago who is part of the HVAC program here, and we welcome them in. We have a nursing student, we have engineer, political science, so it's not just for business students. Currently, I'll talk a little bit about our accolades. Now, I'm always going to talk about the big trophy up in the planetarium building that we won in 2009, the national championship. Last year, we won 5th in the nation for our Up to Us campaign, beating Notre Dame. And then this year, we are the 2024 Gold Chapter of the Year. What that does is put us into place for running for Chapter of the Year amongst all the schools, even the grad chapters. Currently, we have 6 officers. That's a president and 5 vice presidents. Underneath the officers are 5 project managers. These students then run their own project, and they have what's called project committees. So they meet and have their own project committee meetings, as well as executing their tasks through their committee. We also run very business-like. So we have an organizational chart. Each officer is required to have a line of authority so that all students know who they answer to. We have uniforms. If you see the students with me today are wearing their business suit. We also have collared shirts, polos, and also shirts, t-shirts. This is to help us brand and make sure everybody on campus and in the community know who we are. One of the things I love is that they have a zero-based budget, okay? So what that means is during the summer, I meet with my officers, we plan our next upcoming year, but they start at $0. So as they're planning these projects, they have to figure out how to make the money, right? So they've done different things this year to do that, and I'm really proud of the things they're gonna talk to you guys about. We also have business meetings. So every Friday is their business meeting. This past 2 business meetings ago, we had the honor of being able to induct our first honorary member, Dr. Carter, into our membership. So she has a lifetime membership with us. And the students, what they do is they run this. I don't. I sit in the back and I let them host their meeting just like you all do. We also have, besides that, continuity books. So you all know that our students don't stay here very long, right? Sometimes I'll have a great student for 1 semester and the next semester they're gone. But what we created, just like the military, is a continuity book. Each leader has to create this book by the time they leave so that the next leader is able to pick it up and continue going. The students also, if they have a passion about something they want to start as a project that we don't have, they can do a project plan. Once they do the project plan, I take it to the officers. The officers then go over it, look at the budget, and they approve or disapprove. And then if they do execute the project plan, they have to turn in a final report to me. So right now I'm going to introduce to you my president of the 23-24 chapter of Net Impact here on campus, and she's going to cover our current projects and programs.
Thank you, Dr. Clemens. Thank you for having us here today, Dr. Carter and the Board of Trustees. I am Christina Strophus, the current president of Net Impact for this year, 2023-2024. We start off with Be Your Own Boss. It is a partnership with the Army Community Service over on Fort Cavazos, where we hold a 1-week event where we bring in a business consultant teacher, and it is for active duty retirees and their family members. We had 15 participants. There was 3 that won a month-long free scholarship for business mentorship, and this was after our Shark Tank event, which is like the popular TV series where they come in, pitch their idea, and then we vote on who we would like to help out. Our next one is the Up to Us. It is the only nationwide campus-based campaign focused on engaging and empowering students to build a sustainable economic and fiscal future. Like Dr. Clemens says, we have been participating in this for a few years, and last year we placed 5th, beating out Notre Dame. Last year's president was honored with a trip to Washington, D.C., Nashville, Tennessee, and Oakland, California, all expenses paid by Net Impact, where I just returned from the Washington, D.C. trip, where I met from the people from the Bipartisan Policy Center and guest speakers that spoke to us about how they ran their campaigns. We are judged on our events and the impact we have in the community. Our main event will be Thursday, November 9th from 10:30 to 1:30 here in the Anderson Campus Center building over in the ballroom. And we would love for you all to come by and see what we are doing. Next is our awarenesses. This is a year-long event where we have a table or two downstairs in the cafeteria where we bring awareness to a certain topic. Now, the group decides together on what topics we would like to see. Last month, we supported suicide awareness. It is definitely a rising factor affecting the youth today. So we collected 262 pledges that if you see something, say something. This month, we are having breast cancer awareness, where we will be partnering with the Pink Warrior Angels from the local community. They'll be coming in to support us and also providing information, having a game and prizes to raise awareness because breast cancer affects men and women. Next month, we will be focusing on the homeless youth, where we hope to partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Killeen and possibly the Killeen Police Department to have people come and have advocates for homeless youth. So if the students here know someone or they themselves need help, we will be providing it for them on the spot. Next is Project Give, which is another year-long program where we collect specifically for the Eagles Nest Food Pantry here on campus, all canned goods, hygiene items, and our buckets are placed in the computer science building, the library, enrollment, the planetarium building, the gym, and I know there's one more I'm forgetting. I'm so sorry.
Science Center.
Oh, the Science Center? Science Center. Thank you. Okay. And next is catalyzing change. That is our e-commerce business that we set up for ourselves. And we are making t-shirts for Net Impact. Hopefully, we will be expanding the business and offering t-shirts to faculty and staff and other students. It is one of the things that we do to raise money for our projects. Next is the national, the Net Impact headquarters programs that we get. Now, in the spring of this year, we participated in Circular Plastics, which was raising awareness for upcycling and recycling. We held an on-campus competition where the winner won a $100 gift card, and she wove plastic grocery shopping bags into a basket. And I know there are programs overseas that do similar things where they actually weave it into mattresses for communities like in Thailand, Philippines, and Cambodia. Next is our fundraisers. This fall, we will be participating in the Haunted House Fall Carnival that Central Texas College puts on and allows the clubs to participate to raise funds, again, for our projects. Our room will be room number 7 in the Haunted House. It's going to be an insane asylum surgery room theme. So we look forward to you guys coming through and, enjoying that. We will be selling concessions, and we also have games like skee ball and basketball and beanbag toss. So we hope that you come and join us. Our next fundraiser for the fall is our Double Good online pop-up popcorn, which we will be going live with November 1st through November 4th. So keep an eye on your emails. We will be selling popcorn. We would love for you to buy some. You buy directly from the company and they send it to you directly. There is no having to go through us to get it. And then once the sales are final, then they just send us what we make out of our sales. And then for the lighting of the bell tower, we will be having vendors at that also, which is another one of our fundraisers. So we hope to see you all there at that event. And next, I'll be introducing the Vice President of Finance, Sarah Olalea.
Thank you, Christina, and thank you, Board of Trustees, as well as Dr. Carter, for having us here today. My name is Sarah Olalea. I am the VP of Finance for the 2023-2024 school year Net Impact chapter. First, on our upcoming programs and projects for this spring, I would like to talk about Kid Capitalist. Kid Capitalist is a workshop where we teach kids in the community how to start their own business. We are planning on partnering up with the Boys and Girls Club, as well as scheduling a one-day vendor event for the kids to come out and set up booths to sell their products. Next is Lemonade University, which is my personal favorite because it's how I got into Net Impact and also what inspired me to apply for my position. Lemonade University is a one-day event that we host here on CTC campus, where kids are able to learn how to start and operate their own lemonade stand through curriculum that we create, hands-on activities, and also they get to participate in a graduation ceremony at the end of it. This project is a partnership with First National Bank and Lemonade Day, which is a nationwide program. As for awareness, in the spring, we will have disability awareness in February, HIV/AIDS in March, and then mental health awareness in April. Next, I would like to talk about our volunteering with the Chilean Food Bank. Our chapter will be helping families in need obtain groceries, as well as helping the Chilean Food Bank with their vegetable garden, helping them grow fresh produce. Our fundraisers for next spring, we have the Valentine's Day fundraiser, where we will be selling marshmallow wands downstairs of this building, the Anderson campus, and just trying to raise money for our chapter. We do have another one that we are still in the works of developing for the spring as well. And that concludes our presentation.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions?
Just a comment. Dr. Clemens had always, since I've been on the board, I've always viewed her as a highly motivated instructor. So I'm pleased that you continue to be that way. I was sharing with her at lunch that I met someone a few days ago that's in your program, and they couldn't say enough nice things about you and your motivation to support them. You have an exceptional gift, and I don't want to miss an opportunity to say that to you publicly. Continue to encourage our students, because I could see where that would be, Net Impact would be a great draw for a young student that's not sold on a particular degree program or whatever, to get started. They could come and be a part of that and maybe get some direction on what they want to do with their lives. So thank you for what you do. Thank you, guys.
Anyone else? James?
Yeah, so Dr. Clemens, in Coppers Cove, there's the EDC, Coppers Cove EDC. They do I think it's the EDC. It's called Oscar, for Oscar kids and stuff.
The one-day market event for you?
Yes, yeah. That might be something to venture into.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when Diane Dressel was there at EDC, that was my
She's a
connection.
loss.
I know, so you gotta get me connected back with whoever's there now, because I don't have a
I
connection.
think her name's Sheena Tanner.
Okay, perfect. I will look into that. Thank you so much.
I had the privilege of having lunch with Sarah today. Thank you for, she made sure we understood exactly what y'all were doing. I'm grateful for that. Thank you all of y'all. Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. God bless you.
Thank
Mr. Molina, come talk to us about the airport.
There you go. I was concerned a little bit. All right, so how are you doing today?
Good.
Hopefully good. So I'm here to talk about the current state of the fleet and of course a little bit of an update on the incoming new airplanes that we purchased last year. So the new aircraft right now are supposed to be shipped in October, November. It takes about 30 days to get from Italy to here. And, we've been working with and talking to our manufacturer and vendor monthly to get as many updates as we can. There has been some minor issues with, supply on engine parts and which actually is manufactured in the US. So we think that the first airplane will be here this semester and the other two during the winter break, but we're not able to go recruit them until we come back from that break. The Cessna 310, the long-awaited aircraft, we have to repair the airplane. Everything that we were able to do with the engines is already done. There was already a successful run-up or engine testing and a couple of days ago. And I have pictures there in a second. Now there is, of course, the running on the engines that we have to do, making sure that everything works as expected. Our chief flight instructor identified a couple of minor things that needed to be done, and are, as we speak, being done in the airplane. So we're hoping that by the end of this semester, we can have a successful flight with the airplane. So here's a nice little picture. So you can see the engine cowlings are on. The students watch the airplane. Looks nice and bright. So as it should. Now, in regards to the rest of the fleet, that is still also important. There is three Cessna 152s that are not currently flying. 6536 Papa is going to be getting an engine overhaul soon. We're working with business services to get that second engine, and I'm probably going to come back here in a couple of days to talk about that. But the intention is to bring this airplane back up. We also have the other part that is required, which is the flag follow cable, and that should be coming up in a couple of days, or depending on when the engine is ready. November 93438 and 6536 Papa, as we previously talked about, those will be auctioned, and I'm already in talk with business services to get this prep for that auction, and also for the Piper Cub, the tail wheel, and it's not currently flying, and we decided that it was best to auction the aircraft, and we're also talking to business services to get that process done. The rest of the fleet remains active and flying. The exception to 645 at Lima right now, we're getting a rudder pedal repair because after time it has, can generate wear and tear. So we're making sure that we get a new set. But other than that, the rest of the fleet and the simulators, which are on the bottom, Frasca, Level 5, and RTD, those are flight simulators. That's why it doesn't say flying, because, well, they don't really fly. They just simulate. And that's it.
Any questions?
Any questions for me?
I have one.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, since you do now have the flight simulators, have you seen an increase in time on those simulators?
Yeah, especially if in a yearly basis and a quarterly basis, there has to be an inspection done to the big simulator that literally takes up to a room. And whenever that time comes and whenever we need to do an update and they have to stop using the simulator until the update is done, we can use the other one that's equally capable. So yes, I use it every day, almost or every week. Mr. Reynolds likes to fly in it a lot to maintain himself current. We can maintain our staff current with that simulator as well. So it's very, very useful.
Have you seen an increase in the aviation program?
An increase in enrollment. We're completely capped as much as we can handle. As a matter of fact, we have a long list of students who are trying to get in the program right now. So not immediate right now. So
Anyone else? Thanks, sir.
thank you.
Dr. Welsh, tell us about enrollment.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees and Chancellor, Dr. Carter. Okay. As previously requested, I'm providing you the fall enrollment data as of our official reporting date to the state, which is September the 6th. Okay. And okay. And this slide depicts our CTC worldwide enrollments. Those are our credit enrollments for semester hours and college credit. It does not include our non-credit course enrollments. Okay. And although it appears that we have had a slight drop in enrollments from fall 2022 to fall 23, in fall 22, we still had the Europe Tech contract, and we also had some continental sites and Navy sites that were still operating in fall that have all since closed as of fall 2023. Okay, so that's where that difference is. And those enrollments are both classroom courses, face-to-face, and distance learning. And it's all Texas worldwide. Okay. And this slide includes our Texas total credit enrollments that we actually report to the state for this fall. These are unofficial right now until we certify our state reports. And as you can see, although we've had a drop in the number of students, our students are enrolling in more courses and generating more semester credit hours. So I feel like that's a really good positive trend. And this slide is actually just our Continental and Navy enrollments, and it includes the classroom courses, the face-to-face at those sites outside Texas. Okay, and we have had an increase as with the other, with our other Texas enrollments. We've had less students enrolling, but they're generating more course enrollments, enrolling in more courses and carrying a heavier academic load. Okay, and the enrollments do not include their distance learners who also take distance learning through the central campus. So there are distance learners at the Continental and Navy sites as well. And this is actually our total distant learning enrollments comparing the fall 22 to fall 23. And this, again, keep in mind that even though this is distance learning, when we close those sites, sometimes the students do not know where to go to, and we're trying to reach out to all our farmer students. Okay, and so the enrollments do show a decline, but we also still have online courses starting every month for the rest of the fall semester. We have our second 8-week online courses and our second week classroom courses actually started yesterday. Fort Cavazos will have their second 8-week term starting this week. And so then we have another online course enrollment term in November and December. And so we anticipate those enrollments will go up. Okay. And I wanted to switch gears because I wanted to bring your attention to our dual credit enrollments. It was asked of us to start providing those. Okay. And as you can see with this slide, now these are all dual credit enrollments to include early college high school. And there are our central campus classroom courses, our service area, our Fort Cavazos, and our surrounding communities, okay, to include the early college high school. And even though the number of students is lower, our students also enrolling in more courses and generating more semester credit hours. Now this is a slide that compares all of dual credit the last 2 years. And it does show a decrease in 21-22 compared to 22-23, okay? But we also, and so there is a slight decrease, but I wanted to point your attention to this next slide where we're actually we've increased our fall enrollments for 23 from our dual credit. And I wanted to bring attention to fall 2015. And 2015 is when the early college high school opened, and we had 150 students and 150 course enrollments. So we had a fairly established dual credit enrollment back in even as far as fall 2015. But as you can see, the enrollments have continued to increase and the number of semester credit hours. And so we've had a 67% increase in dual credit enrollments since fall 2015. And that ends my presentation. Does anyone have questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Gaines, you have a couple of presentations for us. First, IBM tape library acquisition.
Good afternoon, Chancellor Carter, members of the board. Today, I want to begin by talking to you about acquiring a new IBM tape library. This is going to be a really straightforward case, I think. We currently have a TS-3500, which was manufactured about 20 years ago, and we acquired it shortly thereafter. That's a long time to have a piece of equipment in our data center. It's been very effective, it's been very reliable, and IBM has supported it all this time. that is changing this next year. They're going to need support finally after all these years. So what we need to do now is acquire a new model, which is a TS 4500, which you see on your left there. It's just a cabinet, and actually there would be a second cabinet attached to that one. A little bit about that system. The tape backup system really consists of the larger enclosure, which you just saw, which has a robotic arm and storage for the tapes. And then there are the actual tape drives, which do the reading and writing of the data. There are a total of 24 of those. In 2019, we upgraded 12 of those from LTO4 to LTO7. In 22, just last year, we upgraded from LTO6 to LTO8. And so we've got 24 drives in there which are current and up to date. And the important thing to note there is those will transfer into this new system. We do not need to expend money on new tape drives. So that is important. Quick word on disaster recovery. This tape library system is really the cornerstone of our disaster recovery strategy. We all know all too well how important that is. Especially when you take account events like the ransomware attack of last year. We were able to recover fully from that. Because we had encrypted tapes, which could not be accessed or altered in any way, those are stored at a safe location. We were able to retrieve those and read all our data. And that is incredibly important. It's still not the best way to defend yourself from ransomware, but to recover from it, absolutely, it's the way to go. And a little note there about, it's not the fastest way to recover data. Those read times are really, they're very slow compared to disk and flash. It's seconds to read data off tape. It's 5 to 10 milliseconds to read data off of a spinning disk. It's sub-millisecond, about 0.5 to read off a flash. So it's slow when you're reading it back, but it's still really reliable. We had virtually no errors across many days of restoration. And it's certainly the most secure choice. When these big cloud systems like Azure and Google, when they archive data, they're archiving it on tape. So you might think that tape is outdated and not really much in use anymore. That's not the case. It's still in very broad use by the big folks as well as folks like us. And here's your cost for that new system, $145,500. This is a budgeted item. We would be making the purchase via DIR contract, and we would be making that purchase through Converge One. So it's really very simple and straightforward story on this one.
Questions? Anyone? Okay, go to the next item.
Yes, sir. The next item is an interlocal contract with DIR. And so just a quick little bit of background on that. We tried to acquire a security service through the Texas Department of Information Resources. They handed us a document and said, well, we're more than glad to help you, sign this. And so Ms. Briggs and Mr. Gonzalez reviewed that document, and my understanding is that they had no objections to it, with the caveat that it's an interlocal agreement and it requires board approval. And so all that really is us entering into the DIR Shared Services Program. It makes us eligible to receive services that they've pre-negotiated. And in this case, it would be a free service. And I have no anticipation of making expenditures on additional services from them at this point, but that's always a possibility down the road. And this would facilitate that.
Questions? One. Thanks, sir.
Thank you all very much.
Mr. Sandoval.
Good afternoon, Chairman Towers, Board of Trustees, and Chancellor Carter. For the record, I'm Rudy Sandoval, and today I'm presenting sponsorship requests. In accordance with the Board of Trustees document number 427, the Director of Government Community Relations, in conjunction with the Sponsorship Committee, is responsible for allocating funds for sponsorship requests from charitable organizations under the board policy. This current fiscal year, Central Texas Scholarship sponsorship total budget is $74,300. This is funds to allocate. CTC administration recommends sponsorships awards to the following organizations. One is the Business Resource Center for $30,000. The CTC Foundation for $12,500, which would include the purse bingo, golf tournament, lighting of the bell tower, and bowling extravaganza. The Festival of Trees, tree sponsorship with table is $2,800. The Harker Heights Chamber Chairman Circle is $3,500. The Killeen National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, $2,600. Advent Health Gold Star Gala is $2,500, and of course, the total requested for approval would be $56,400. As you know, the Business Resource Center is a collaboration among Workforce Solutions of Central Texas, the Central Texas Training Centers, Workforce Solutions Training Centers, Central Texas College, and the Greater Killeen Chamber of Commerce. The Business Resource Center creates relationships with various businesses, organizations, and government entities for support and recognition of their programs and activities. The Business Resource Center assists with building the business community by providing entrepreneur learning programs and resources to help grow businesses in the community. The BRC, which is the Business Resource Center, offers workshops on Fort Cavazos and off for those interested in knowing more when starting a new business or expanding businesses. Of course, when I mentioned the Central Texas College Foundation, the amounts requested for each of those areas to total $12,500 is the purse bingo is $5,000. That's for the fundraising events. The 28th Annual Foundation Golf Tournament, $3,000. Lighting of the bell tower, $3,500. And the bowling extravaganza, $1,000. The funds raised will go towards various CTC scholarships and programs administered by the foundation. The Festival of Trees is the Wreath for Vets and Noble Giving Scholarship Program is a beneficiary of Festival of Trees. The funds raised for Wreath for Vets will go towards wreaths to be placed on each burial marker at the Texas State Veterans Cemetery this holiday season. The amount requested from the Harker Heights Chamber of Commerce is for the Chairman's Circle membership and includes a wide variety of recognition, marketing, priority seating, and unique invitations for Central Texas College. The Killeen Rotary request of $3,500, which they will match funds. The funds will provide 1,100 scholarships to students who enroll at Central Texas College. The Killeen National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, will present 2 graduating seniors with a Central Texas College scholarship for $1,000 at the Freedom Fund Banquet. A table of 8 and a full-page ad for the Central Texas College in the souvenir room will be also included, and that totals the $600. That's a $2,600 request. The Advent Health Gold Star Gala, the amount requested provides Central Texas College a reserved table of 8 listing on all printing materials. The sponsorships include various partnerships that's photography, social hour, creation of invitations, program partner, meet and greet, security partner, and raffle, and their videos, and of course, including their live auction. The funds will benefit the purchase of the new 3D mammography machine and a Hannah orthopedic surgical table. These events give us a lot of recognition, the college recognition, and allows us to put our best foot forward. I'm open to any questions.
Any questions, observations? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Armstrong.
Good afternoon. We have an invitation for bid that was issued 24-001. It was issued for various products that are used within the facilities and construction area, includes hardwood, plywoods, building, grounds, construction-related material, as well as other specialty building and construction items. 3 vendor proposals were received, and I will mention that the IFB did allow for multiple bid awards through the process. Heights Lumber and Supply out of Hartford Heights. They are the contractor that we have used in the past for this. 180 Office Solutions out of Georgetown, and then Centec Trading out of Fresno, California. So the pricing was submitted by line item for each of the products that we had requested, and then it was evaluated based upon sections. Actual procurement will be made on a as-needed basis. And so based upon that review, Heights Lumber was selected for the purchase of all building, grounds, and construction-related materials and products, except for the flip-top table legs and dry erase whiteboards, batteries, and flat steel. So 180 Office Solutions was selected for the purchase of the flip-top table legs and the dry erase whiteboards. And then batteries will be just purchased from a local vendor, and then flat steel would be purchased utilizing a state purchasing cooperative as those products are needed. So both of the vendors would have an initial term of 12 months with 4 one-year renewal options. Heights Lumber, when we bring the recommendation to the board next Tuesday, would be in an amount not to exceed $250,000. And then the 180 Office, or $1.25 million over the life of the contract, and then 180 Office Solutions would be an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually, or $250,000 over the life of the contract. So those will be brought to the board next meeting for approval. Can answer any questions.
Questions? Thanks, sir. Dr. Carter?
Yes, you have in your packet a letter from the Bell County District Tax Appraisal District, allowing us to nominate someone to the Board of Directors. I think the last time we had this opportunity was 2021, and we didn't nominate anyone at that time. So,
Anyone care to address that?
I have someone, I'll get that information to the rest of the board, and to you, ma'am, and see what we can do.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do have someone.
Okay, yeah.
You want to mention it?
Yes,
now?
please. Yeah, please.
Give me a second, I'll pull it. Arthur Bryant, retired Command Sergeant Major Arthur Bryant.
You will present that at the board meeting next week for
Yes, sir.
approval. Anyone comment on that?
It's just a nomination
Yes.
that we send to the county, and then they put on the ballot, and then it's voted on.
Right. Anybody else? Any other comments? Thank you, Ernest. Appreciate it. It is 1:50 p.m. We'll call executive session on items 12 and 13. We will conduct those and report back at a conclusion of time. We're just now back in session at 2:47 p.m. Discussion of, do I need to repeat that?
I think you're okay.
Discussion of internal auditors' evaluations that will be reported to HR. And the board's self-evaluation is a process still being conducted. Any recommendations from any board members for future items?
I've got one.
Thanks.
Mr. Molina, on the aviation program, I've heard twice now that we don't have enough. We can't
Take more students.
accommodate all of the students that want to be aviators. And I was thinking about that, and I don't understand the dynamics involved, and I think, Chancellor, I'd like your office to look at that. In World War II, we produced a whole lot of pilots all of a sudden because we needed them. And they did that by changing the way they did things before 1939. Maybe we need to look at the way we're doing business, and maybe the college curricula of a semester is not the way to go. Maybe we need to go in with flights of 10 or 15 people and run them 4 or 5 times a year. I don't know. I'm just saying that if there's students out there, then we're not servicing. What are we doing wrong? That's my question.
Or how can we do it right? Yeah.
Yeah, how can we do it right? I don't need an answer. I just think that we need to look at that, I think.
Got it, sir.
Ernest, anything to add for future? Yeah. James?
Just quick question. What day is fall commencement?
December 8th.
December 8th? So I'll mark my schedule.
December 8th?
Yes, December 8th.
Thank
at
you.
KC3.
Good.
Good work.
See, Texas
Plain
State
City.
graduation.
Oh. New acronym. Okay.
Thanks, James. Charles, anything to add to future?
I'm sorry.
Anything to add to future agenda items? Okay. Bill?
No.
Ms. Gully?
No.
Next meetings, next week, of course, is the board meeting. Same time, same place, Tuesday. The workshop in November is the 14th, and the board meeting in November is the 28th. And just one change or addition or clarification for our schedule. December, there will only be a board meeting, no workshop. That board meeting will be on the 14th of December.
It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday? Thank you. Says that right there. Anything else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All in favor, say.
Aye.
And